Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Where Wendy Creates. I'm Wendy, and thank you for joining me today. Today, we are going to talk about all things craft fair, and we're going to highlight the soup bowl cozy. So if you're looking to have a craft fair coming up and you want ideas of what to sew, please join me. I'm going to have lots and lots of these videos, and today we're going to show you how to make the soup bowl cozy. It has handles, never burn your fingers again. It is 100% microwavable, 100% reversible. So my friends, this is the excellent project to do. And we're going to talk about price. We're going to talk about function. We're going to talk about how to sell it. We're going to talk about how to set up your booth. We're going to have lots of tips and tricks about my successes with soup bowl cozies selling at different craft fairs. And in order to do it, you do need your 100% cotton batting, and you need to look on here and make sure the scrim is no scrim, so it's 100% cotton. You get yardage of your favorite fabrics, and you cut them into 10-inch squares. And I'm going to give you some cost-saving tips about how to do it economically and how I price my items and why. So I'm going to break it down for you. So get a cup of coffee, grab your tea, let's sit on down and enjoy some fun sewing and thoughts about selling these beautiful creatures at craft fairs. Why? Well, my friends, at one craft fair, I sold over 300 in one day. So it can be done. So watch right here. We're getting started and we're going to have some fun. Hello and welcome back to Where Wendy Creates. Today I have gone ahead and cut up an entire stack, a couple of packages of batting of 100% cotton with 100% scrim, cotton scrim or no scrim for my soup bowl cozies. I've also selected a various amount of brown fabrics, and I have cut these into 10-inch squares and now selected thread that are going to match them and bobbins. We're going to wind our bobbins and we're going to start making our bowls en masse for the crafting season, for the fair season. Yay! Okay, and when you take your piece of batting, lay it out flat, everything is going to want to stick to each other and not lay flat. So it's nice to have a flat surface. Just lay it down on its 10-inch square and kind of finesse it out with your fingers. Just kind of lightly scratch it, rub it to where everything is completely flat. Then you're ready to sew. And we're going to sew this across corner to corner. So we're just going to pop it in the machine. We're going to chain stitch a lot of them. Oftentimes at the beginning and the end, I use the lock button, the back button, to back stitch. And I'm just lining it up, coming over to the point. Now, if you wanted to, you could draw a line and sew it, but you'd have to use an erasable pen that comes out. And we definitely don't want any writing on the top of our fabric. So I just kind of eyeball it straight across. Go corner to corner. So I am chain stitching all of my 10-inch squares and having a blast. Once I have these done, or I run out of bobbin, which is probably the bobbin first, then we will do the opposite side. And we are laying out one of the battings. I did make the battings in my lap, so they are not a good 10-inch size, because I was watching TV when I was cutting my approximate 10-inch blocks out. But the fabric was cut on with the rotary cutter on the cutting board. So the 10-inch fabric pieces are correct, but the batting is larger. So we will trim the batting after we make the X on the sewing machine. Now I sell a lot of these bowls for gifts, but today I am making these to sell in craft fairs. So today, instead of just doing a 4-piece set to give to someone, I am making a couple of hundred of these to go in the craft fairs. And well, 200, huh? In the past, I have sold almost 300 bowls in one day. So it really depends upon the craft fair. Sometimes I sell 50, sometimes I sell 300. So to go to a craft fair, depending upon the amount of days, I want to have at least 300 per day to sell. And my friends, that just means if I bring some home, I don't have to make more or I have to make less for the next craft fair. So I do not mind making extra that do not sell. I'm good with that. And you ask, why, oh why, Wendy, is your sewing machine so noisy? Well, my friends, I'm working on the Singer Heavy Duty. Any of you who have watched my videos know that my sewing machine is loud. Yes, it does need to be cleaned. However, let's take a look real quick, shall we? And if we are using batting, in the amount of batting that we're doing, one of these layers are facing down. I am getting all of these fibers inside of my machine. Plus, I am going to be sewing layer after layer after layer of this bowl to make the bowl. So in essence, I am going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, times 2, 8 layers with my stitching. So that is why I am using the Singer Heavy Duty. That is why I choose to have a loud sewing machine, because it's a workhorse. It is inexpensive, and I can trust that it can do the layers, the thickness, the amount of bowls that I need to do without messing up. That is huge for me. Productivity is huge for me. So yes, my machine is loud and I love it. And yes, I have to clean it, but it's a workhorse and it's getting all these fibers in it. So I'm going to clean it when I'm done with my 300 bowls. And then we will probably make another 300 bowls, but that's okay. I love doing it. Oh, and when I get done with the bowls, I'm doing potato warmers, I'm doing potato bags, I'm doing popcorn bags, I'm doing tortilla warmers, I'm doing those items that sell very, very well at craft fairs. And yes, I'm making tote bags, I'm making burp cloths, I'm making pet mats. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet, because I'm going to teach you how to do each and all of those. Some people like to buy one for each person of the household, so they have their each individual colors, and others like to purchase sets. Now, it might be a set of 2, it might be a set of 4, or it could be a set of 8 or 10. That would be a great sale. And sometimes, my friends, people like buying for themselves as well as for others. So in a craft sale, I like selling these, making enough that they can sell in sets, but I never control what someone buys. I let them choose their quantity and their colors. And I do not get upset if a person breaks up a set that I have made, because somebody will come along and want those extras. So don't worry about sets. Just make a lot of bowls. And my sewing machine got quiet again. And just make a lot of bowls, and people will purchase them the way they want to. So my bowls truly are my best-selling item at my fabric table at my craft fairs. And I typically sell them for between $7 and $10 a piece. Never go below $7. But now they truly are valued at more of a $10 to $12 range with the price of fabric going up. Okay, so follow me on this. The average cost of 1 yard of fabric that I am purchasing is about $13 a yard. Sure, I can get it on sale and I can get cheaper, but you and I both know that some of the fancy fabrics are coming out more expensive, and I suspect it is possible to go up if we have tariffs, which are already implemented, and let's see how the fallout goes on that. So I'm saying $13, and 1 yard is 36 inches, and I'm going to use 2 yards of each fabric, so I'm getting approximately 72 inches, which is 36 times 2 is 72, and then with the fabric, on average, I'm getting about 42. Yes, some of it is low as 38, which I'm very not happy about, but I need that 40. So if I take 10-inch squares out of a 72 by 42 with the fabric, I have approximately 28 10-inch squares. Now that's going to make 14 bowls, because I need 2 sides for each bowl. So if I get 14 bowls in $26 for the fabric, and then we look at the cost of batting, we look at the cost of thread. You need 100% cotton thread. You cannot get a polyester blend. This is microwavable, has to be 100% cotton thread. So let's just say $4 for a spool of thread. We make the bobbins off of that. Everything comes out of that. So then we're also going to need the batting. No, my friends, you cannot get cheap batting. The batting must be 100% cotton, 100% scrim has to be 100% cotton or no scrim. Scrim is what they pound it with needles to keep it going. This, of course, this white stuff is the batting. This, of course, is the fabric. So we're looking at batting. Say we need 2 yards. 2 yards is roughly what? 2 craft size battings or a twin size batting. So you're really looking, it varies a lot. I want to say I'm spending maybe $16, okay? So you're looking at a total of 6 plus 4, 16. You're looking at 2, 3, 4, $46 to make 14 bowls. So if we're only making 14 bowls and it's costing us $46 just from that, we're looking at $3.29 per bowl in cost, not including our needles, maintenance, machine wear and tear, the cost of the event. How much does it cost us at that event to have a table? Are we at a church bazaar where we paid $20, or are we at a state fair where we spent over $1,000? Tablecloth, time, etc. You cannot set up a booth without props. You have to have price tags. You have to have a tablecloth. You have to have signage. Plus, you need to create these. So how much is your time worth to make those 14 bowls? And time to cut the fabric. Now, again, I am using the 2 yards of fabric, because if we only used 1 yard of fabric, we would get 3 times 4, 12, instead of the 14 that we're getting with using the 2 yards, because instead of a 6-inch waist turning into scraps, we only have 2-inch waist turning into scraps. So we have 14 bowls we're creating. But again, yes, lots of mess in between with my brain. But again, $3.29. So my friends, your time is more valuable than that. So you have to sell your bowls really at, say we're going to sell 50 a day. Yes, I've sold 300, but it's rare, my friend. So if you sell 50 of these a day, your cost for that event is that $200. So right there, you need to add $4. Unless you've got lots of other pieces that you are adding to sell as well. So the cost of the event is crucial, my friend. And what's the gas cost? What's your time cost? What's the wear and tear? The needles, we need needles. Yes, I pop them. Yes, I get spurs in them. Yes, not all of them are perfect when I buy them. So you've got a lot of considerations. So selling the bowls for $10 or $10.99 each is not a bad thing. And you can tell them if they buy two for 20. You know, you can buy a set of 4 for let's just say $36. What do you think? 4 goes into 36. You're only selling them for $9 a piece. So that's a great incentive to get some discounts there. Okay, let's get back to, move the math out of the way, and let's get back to creating our crafts for our fair. So let's talk about this craft fair, and let's talk about other people and how they teach you how to make a soup bowl cozy. My soup bowl cozies have often sold better than other people's soup bowl cozy, because I'm constantly checking my tension. I'm doing the quality control. And my friends, it comes down to putting one of these pieces of batting on every single piece of fabric. Yes, I use 2 pieces of batting for every soup bowl cozy that I make. So your hands are cozy, the bowls are cozy, they're 100% washable, and when you come into my booth, I ask you to touch, feel, play. I want you to go through the entire stack of these bowls, pick out your colors, admire the colors. If you can get a soup bowl cozy or any other item you're trying to sell into somebody's hands, you've got a much better percent chance of them purchasing than if they're just eyeballing you. So get these things in their hands, they're going to feel them, and then they're going to shop around, and then they're going to come back. So yes, you don't want dirty hands. That is a risk that you run. And you may not want to tell every mother with a small child with ice cream to touch, feel, play. But it does not hurt being very friendly, very open. Tell everybody hello. Tell everybody, come on in, check it out. And letting everybody touch, feel, play your merchandise. So quality, hands-on, smiling face, warm, open, and make sure your tables are not cluttered, but they're completely full of items. You do not want to have a table that only has soup bowl cozies. You want signage. You want a pretty tablecloth that drops down and people can see it. You want stuff up at eye level. So my friends, if you have to get crates, you have to get boxes, you have to put tablecloths on top of them, get things up at eyeball level for people to see them across the room, across the aisle, and come check out your merchandise. All right, halfway done with the browns, and then we're going to turn them around and do the other cross against them on the other side. So it's a cross on the fabric, which holds it there, which keeps it very washable, durable. My friends, these are going to get dirty. Yes, we want them washed, and then just pop your fingers in them. They're good to go for another round. So let's talk about competition. Not only do I use 2 pieces of fabric, but I leave it in a square form. Now, some people have gotten great, they've gotten smart, they're making them prettier with chopped off corners. Well, why would you want to buy a bowl that doesn't have handles? My bowls have handles. You're never going to burn yourself in the microwave. So that's why I like this design best. So there's lots of designs out there. If you're cutting circles, it takes more of your time. If you're chopping off corners, it takes more of your time. And why would you want to cut off your handles? So again, to each their own. The bowls with no handles, they're unique, they're different, they're pretty. So yes, I like them. But no, I'm not going to make them. Because I'm all about making the functional, practical kind of item that works for me. And handles work for me. And you'll also have people come into your booth that say, I'm never going to use those. My friend of a friend's uncles, aunts, brothers, cousins had one that burnt and their house smelled like burnt cotton, burnt whatever. Well, fabric does not burn unless you're heating it for over 8 minutes. So they may have had a polyester blend. They may have not gotten their quilter's cotton quality fabric, and it may have some kind of blend in it, or the batting. Like I said, it's so important to have 100% cotton scrim. Nothing in my bowls, nothing in your bowls should ever be anything other than 100% microwavable cotton. And my friends, anything you're going to heat up in a bowl is going to heat up in 2 to 3 minutes. It's not going to take 8 minutes. Now, my baked potatoes have moisture in them. So when you use my baked potato bags, I usually use them for about 6 minutes. I've never had a problem when I take them out, I check them, I turn them over, I cook them up to 10 minutes because sometimes I pack those puppies full. As long as there's moisture in the microwave, you're not going to have a problem. Cotton is a natural fiber. It dries out, and only after it's dried out so much that there's no moisture in it, could it have an issue? No, please don't put water in with your microwavable bowl cozies. It's not necessary. It's science. So anyone can verify me. It is science. And let's get these all stacked together and turned around, shall we? And what I'm going to do is turn these around in the sewing machine and see if you can see this line right across here. I'm going to be doing point to point here. And then this stack, once I have them all stacked up, I will, and the other row done, I will take them upstairs. And I will sit in front of the television set tonight with the family, and I will trim off the excess sides. So you can say, Wendy, wouldn't it be cost effective? Wendy, wouldn't it be better if you used the rotary blade and you made your batting the perfect 10-inch square? Yeah, maybe, but probably not, because we still have leftover, and I use it for batting in other items. You know me, I don't like to throw anything away. I use it for batting in different stuffies that I make and different heart pillows. By the way, it's that time of year. It's Valentine's, so, or thereabouts. So you can use the excess batting in all of the different other projects that you have. I just have a bag. I put it all in the bag and I sit there and I get my lap completely covered in mess, and I have a great time with the rest of the family cutting up my batting out of packages and then trimming my pieces. So for me, instead of standing over a cutting board, it is more time effective because my time is very valuable to me, and I spend it with the family. So I'm going to get these all stacked up. We'll do the crisscross the other direction, and then we will be able to put these in a pile to trim them off, and we'll be back at the sewing machine tomorrow putting all of these together into mated pairs, and then I'll show you how to make the bowls. I'm so excited. We're having fun, aren't we? Taking our first pile of squares and doing our opposite corner to corner stitch. And I did want to share with you, Wendy, why are all of your pieces brown? Well, I do everything that I can use the same color thread for at one time, because again, maybe I'm lazy, maybe I'm efficient, but I like to do everything in one color, and then I'll change the thread and I'll do my pinks, I'll change my thread and I'll do my blues, change my thread and I'll do my yellows. So I try and color coordinate everything, all of my 10-inch squares. So I will spend 2 or 3 days just cutting all of these squares out. And then I will color code them into different stacks and then start sewing away, set in front of the boob tube at my different stages, cutting the batting off of these, and then I will have fun putting them all together. So how do you prepare for a craft fair? This is a big part, making everything that you have to make for your event. So take your piles and piles of these lovely 10-inch squares upstairs, trim them in front of the television set, and then the next day come back and sew. All right, so welcome back to the table. We have trimmed all 4 sides with the batting to make it sure it's the same size as the fabric. And now I'm going to take one of each color here and show you how to start. First of all, of course, what we have done already is make our X. In our stitch line, I'm using a 2-stitch. We've done our quality control to make sure the stitches look good on both sides. Of course, I haven't done my quality control and pulled off my threads yet. And we are ready to go ahead and stitch. Now we're going to take our 2 squares and we're going to fold them in half. We're going to measure up from the bottom circle about 1.25 inches, and we're going to measure down about 2.5 inches. And we're going to go ahead and sew across. And just like the next one, fold it in half, sew across. And then bring it back. Make sure your points line up, and we're sewing the other point. Sewing the other half. And once we have our 2 corners done, we're going to take it, open it up, fold it in half the opposite direction. And now we're going to sew this corner and this corner. Okay, so once our four corners are all sewn, we are going to go ahead and take our scissors and about 1/4 inch off, or just slight of 1/4 inch, we're going to cut all of these. Now I keep these scraps and I use them as stuffing. So you do you, but I like to upcycle and recycle. So if you hold on to those, you can watch a different video and see how I use these scraps to stuff other projects. Okay, so the scraps are done. Now we're opening it up. You see the bowl, and see how I like to keep it square, because I like the corners. I like the handles on these bowls. Okay, so we have, this one is a fish bowl. So we can choose to turn either one and stuff it right inside. We're going to match up these four corners, and now we're going to sew around the four corners, leaving about an 2-inch opening, and that way we can turn it right side out. So let's go ahead and bring it back over to the sewing machine and stitch around. We have the same color thread in. We're on the heavy duty Singer. So again, we're going through many layers, but we're then going to turn it inside out and go over these layers plus the other fold. So it's going to be a total of 8 layers. We're eventually 8, 9, 10. Wow. Plus the seams. You've got 12, 14. You do the math and let me know in comments. About 14 layers there. Then I'm going to go past my point, come back, needle down, foot up, pivot, and keep going all the way around the bowl, about 1/4 inch in. Now let's do our quality control and take a look. We want to make sure that we're covering everything here. I got real close, so let's do both sides. We want to look around to make sure all 4 layers are caught and trapped. And then let's take our scissors. We're going to trim down each of our corners, making sure we do not go over cut our inside thread. And at the corner here with a little bulk, you can pop that off to make it a little bit thinner too if you choose. Just nicking off all of our corners. Okay, so now let's find our opening again. And our opening is right here. Let's get rid of some of these threads. Pop our fingers inside. And what I like doing is taking a finger all the way over to the opposite corner and then holding on to that, pushing it all the way through, and that's the corner I start with. And we're just going to floop it open. Sorry about that. I hope you can see. Let's back you up so you can see. So sorry. And pull our bowl right side out. Then you can use your fingers, or you can use a stiletto. You can use the end of the scissors to go ahead and push out all of your points. So however you do that, you don't want to push too hard because you don't want to hurt your fabric. And then we're going to do a top stitch all the way around. Okay, so we're pushing out our corners. Now we are matching brown fabric to brown fabric, so I have the same thread in the top as in the bottom. And what kind of thread are we using? We are using 100% cotton thread, so don't get your normal quilting thread. You have to have 100% cotton. Most quilting thread is a blend because cotton doesn't maintain over the years like polyester does. Okay, so let's push this corner out as well. And again, I'm just using my scissors because my stiletto walked away. Okay, so we have we have all 4 corners. And let's push our bowl out and trim our little threads that are sticking out. And now take a look at our opening. And we are going to go ahead and sew around the top, and we're going to start with our opening. So we want to make sure our batting is being folded just like the fabric, so it's perfectly smooth, and I'm not happy with that corner. So you can use your stiletto again, you can use a needle, you can even use a chopstick. So if you want, put a bead on the end of a chopstick, and you've got a nice stiletto there as well. So we're going to gently push that out a little bit because you can also use a needle on the outside and pull those layers out, because we'd really love a true true corner. Okay, fold those in again, and now that's where we're going to start stitching, right on that opening. And we're going to go all the way around the bowl. Lock my stitch in. I'm making sure I'm laying it. Here, let's grab a needle or a pen, excuse me, sorry about that. And a pen. I got to pull you back to find a needle in the drawer. Okay, so I'm going to have my pen. I'm going to put it right in at the seam and hold it out. So we can do this all the way around, or simply do this. And the stage we're supposed to be at is at the iron. Give it a nice hot press to hold it down. But I'm going to skip the ironing step. You would be very well to keep that ironing step. And I'm just going all the way around real close to the edge. And as I need to, I'm putting the pen in the seam and pulling the seam out, because I want a crisp, clean, professional seam with those 2 layers laying perfectly flat together. And we're going to go all the way around. And if you will, we kind of make it into a V, and that way it turns very easily. Popping out our corners all the way. Our seam is straight. Over here it wants to tuck under, so we're pulling it out straight. And we're going very thin, just a good 1/8 or 1/16 around the outside edge of our bowl, making that finishing touch. And we want to capture all of the layers and have them lay down nice and easy for us. Now, how do you sell your bowls? Well, we've talked about making them. We've made one. We've talked about selling them. We've talked a little bit about our booth. We do need to have our items to where they are eyesight high. And again, that means a lot of items eyesight high, a lot of them lower, a lot of them higher, so that we're getting a lot of interest in our products. And I'm going to get smaller scissors to trim this off and make it look a little bit neater as that last thread. But then we can go around the inside, the outside. Now you've got your 4 seams right here. You put your bowl inside of here. What I always do to advertise these at my table is I bring a couple of different styles into the tent or into the booth or into the table with me, and I display them with the bowl. These corners are the perfect handles. This fits the average to large size bowl that you would heat your soup up in, that you would reheat your leftovers, have your morning oatmeal in, your grits, whatever you need there. I'll get closer scissors and catch those. But this is just a beautiful thing. And I love these. They're handy. I hope you've enjoyed making them. And again, we want to get these into somebody's hands. So have the bowls with you at the table to advertise how they work, how they look. Whatever you think is going to make your viewer at the craft fair understand what this soup bowl cozy is for. Display it with a bag of oatmeal, a morning bag of grits, a can of stew, whatever works for you, and let them know they are never going to burn their fingers again because you have handles on the bowl to put it in, to put it out, to then take it into the living room, set in front of the television set, and never burn your hands again. Evening ice cream, even better. Again, never freeze your hands again. A great way to be comfy in your own home and beautiful. Match your kitchen features.